So hi everyone, in the last class we discussed about admin will log in with username and password, and if the login user is valid, it has to go to admin home page. Similarly, floor home, kitchen home page, so on like that. See, first of all, you must know the architecture of this project. So I am developing this project, different layers are there. This is your presentation layer, this is your service layer. I divided your entire project into three layers: presentation layer, service layer, data access layer. This is your data access layer, and this is your database. Is it clear? In database, the data will be stored in the form of table, which is collection of rows and what? Columns. Here you have EMP with three columns are there. One is E number, other one is E name, another one is salary. EMP table having three columns. One is E number, E name, and what? Salary is there. Are you following? And here I have one more layer, that is business objects. Business objects is there. This is one more layer. See, what is my requirement? What is data access layer means? Data access layer is nothing but a class. It consists of methods. I will write one method called add employee. Is it clear? Bracket open, bracket close. Service layer is also nothing but a class. Here also I will try to declare one method called add employee. Service layer mostly will write the business logic in service layer. Data access layer will try to write what? ADO.NET code or entity framework code. Presentation layer is your MVC. Here I have in MVC we already know, here you have controller and here you have view and here you have model actually. Okay na? So here in the design view I'll try to write something like this: enter employee number, enter employee name, enter salary. Is it clear? So here employee number one text box, enter employee name one text box, enter salary one text box, and it will try to take one button called save button. So what is my requirement? Whenever user enter the values in the text boxes, here I'll try to enter some values 101, and here I'll try to give the employee name Anil, and here I'll try to give the salary 20,000. So whenever user clicks on save button, I need to send these values. Whatever the values sent in the presentation layer, I want to send to service layer. And in service layer, I need to send from service layer, I need to send to data access layer. Data access layer, I need to send to database. If the record is inserted successfully, database will give the result. That is one. That is if the record is successfully. Database will again send the result to data access layer. Data access layer will again send the result to service layer. Result means here record is inserted successfully or not. Now this is your three-tier architecture. The layers must be something like this: presentation layer to service layer to data access layer to database. Is it clear? Now, in order to send these values from one layer to another layer, model in order we already know in MVC, model is nothing but a class. Let us assume model is class, controller is class, service layer is class, data access layer is class. So in model, we'll declare only properties, something like int e number, set as well as get. Is it clear? And here I'll try to write something like string e name. And here I'll try to write something like double salary, something like this. These three properties I'll declare inside my model class. So if you want to now, in order to send the values from presentation layer to service layer, in service layer, I'll try to give the input. Input I need to pass the values. Generally, we already know about method. Method will take input. Is it clear? The input must be data type. But if you want to send bulk values at a time, we'll pass the input as reference variable. Is it clear? So models.emp, some object I need to pass as input for this method. And here also I need to pass the model object as input. But some complications are there if you keep model in presentation layer. So what I will do, I'll create a separate layer called business objects. This is nothing but your models. And this model class I'll write in business objects. So the communication will not disturb. Generally in three-tier architecture, presentation layer must communicate with service layer. Service layer must communicate with data access layer. Data access layer must communicate with database. Database will send the result to data access layer. Data access layer will send the result to service layer, vice versa. In all these layers communication, data transfer will play the major role. In order to transfer the data, we need to store the data in a separate object, that is model object. And here one more important point, in order to establish the communication between these layers, these are four separate projects. One is presentation layer separate project, service layer separate project, data access layer separate project. If separate projects are there, in order to create the communication between these projects or layers, we have to import one layer in another layer. So in that one, we already know in .NET we learned that references will be there. If you want to communicate with different layers or different projects, we have to add the reference of one layer in another layer. See, whatever I explained, I will show you now. Now I will convert my project in the same manner. So here what to do? Already we have data access layer, we have presentation layer, and we have service layer. In presentation layer, we already have models, views, and controllers, but I removed this models folder, I deleted. Okay, now what I will do, right click on the solution, add new project. Add new project, and here I'll try to select the class library. Select Visual C Sharp, select class library template, and here I'll give the name as business objects. Business objects, this is only your model class actual. All the model class related files you keep in this project, business objects. Yes or no, select this class, delete. Now open your models folder. Already I will try to drag and drop this one in business objects actual. Otherwise you create, no problem. It is corrupted, I think. No problem, no issues. So now here what I will do, within the business objects, now four projects are there. But if you observe clearly in the last video, I created this models folder is available in presentation layer only, but in this video I deleted that. I arranged it in this manner. This is presentation layer, this is business objects, this is data access layer, this is service layer. So in business objects, what I will do, right click on business objects, add class. The name of the class I'll give as login. Here I'll try to give as login.cs. Already last example I'm doing some small modification. Public, otherwise your project will not run. Here I'll try to declare one property, public string username. And I will declare one more property, public string password. Is it clear? Two properties I declared. Now go to your home controller. Now my model, my login class is in business objects layer, but I want to access in RMS now. So what to do? Right click on references under RMS, add reference, go to projects, select business objects, click on OK. So I added this business objects in presentation layer. Now go to your home controller. Here you can use declare the namespace. Is it clear? Here you can declare using RMS dot using business objects. Using business objects, and here for this, instead of models dot login, here you can give business objects dot login. Just to do this modification for your previous code. Business objects dot login. Some fluctuations will be there because we are developing the project. Our main agenda is to cover all the topics. That is the main aim. We want to cover total topics so that you, when you attend for interview, any type of question you can answer. So I'm use some modules I will do with ADO.NET, some modules with entity framework, database first approach, code first approach, and we'll do with the Ajax calls. Everything I will cover. So some fluctuations will be there. You must also do hard work. Hard work means just practice here. Nothing hard work is there. Just practice. Is it practice the same program several times? Definitely you will also get some comment on that architecture. That is the main point here. So I'll try to run this project. Here you see. First of all, admin will log in with username and password. We already developed that one in the old video. Is it clear? So here you can see login. So first of all, admin will log in with his username and password. And if the login user is valid, it will go to admin home page. And his activities are totally different. Here we got some error. Yeah, somewhere there is error. Let us see here. Anyway, login.cshtml, I'm getting some error. No problem, I'll rectify. So go to your solution explorer, because we have modified that model class layer. No, that is the reason I'm getting that error, but no problem. Go to your views folder. There you can go to your login.cshtml. Otherwise, you do one thing. No issues. Okay. Here you can change the namespace name. Instead of models, you can give business objects. So issues will be rectified. Here you can give business objects RMS dot business objects is not coming here. Business objects dot login. That's it. Save it. Otherwise, build solution, rebuild. Okay, now here you can go to your debug and check the output. Because previously we directly added models folder, now I changed it to this is the perfect architecture of our project. Presentation layer, business logic, service layer, data access layer, business objects. Business objects I'm using like models. How many database tables are there? Those many model classes you have to create in your project. Is it clear? Model main purpose is to transfer the data between the layers. So presentation layer will interact with business logic layer. Business logic layer will interact with the data access layers. Something like that. Data access layer will interact with the database. So admin will log in with username is admin, password is admin. Click on sign in. I am showing you the errors also so that you will not get that errors. That is the reason. So here we'll do this employee module. Admin will add the employee details. Okay, na? So what I will do, first of all, I'll go to my database. Open your SQL Server Management Studio, and there you can create one tables. Is it clear? Create one database with name RMS 2020. Use RMS 2020 and then create table. Create table EMP with columns E number, E name, and salary. Apply primary key for E number. This is my employee table. Right click refresh. So I want to insert the record in the table. Try to initial video 10 minutes I discussed about that layers and communication. Try to understand that layers, then you will understand the coding part. This is your presentation layer, data access layer, business objects, service layer. So now what I will do, right click on business objects. I will add one separate class because I want to perform CRUD operations on employee. So here I'll try to write something like this, employee.cs. Click on add button. So go to your presentation layer. There you can go to web.config file, declare the connection string globally after system.web. Here I already declared the connection string. This code you have to write. After system.web, you have to write this. Connection string add name is equal to constr. Connection string is equal to user ID, password, database, and data source. Okay, na? And then next step what to do? Go to your data access layer. Go to your data access layer. Right click on references. Add reference. Select business objects. Click on OK. In data access layer, you have to add business objects. Try to understand here only some small confusion will be there. See here. This is your presentation layer. This is your service layer or business logic layer. This is your data access layer. This is your business objects. This is your database. Is it clear? This is the your architecture of your project. Presentation layer. This is service layer or business logic layer, whatever it may be, or repository layer. Okay, na? And here this is your data access layer, and this is your business objects. That is nothing but models. Now, in order to these all are four separate projects. If you want to create the communication with these between these projects, you have to add the references. You have to add what? References. One project reference you have to add in another reference. So here what to do? Presentation layer will communicate with service layer. So here what to do? Add service layer in presentation layer. Next, service layer will interact with the data access layer. So what to do? Add data access layer in service layer. And this business objects is used by everyone. Presentation layer, service layer, data access layer. So what to do? Add business objects in all layers. Presentation layer, business logic layer, and service layer, and data access layer. This communication you must be clear. And in data access layer, you have to add one more, that is configuration also to database connectivity. Is it clear? See what to do? Go to service layer project. You have to presentation layer project. You have to add service layer, and data access layer project. Add data access layer in service layer, and add configuration also in data access layer. Add configuration and business objects in data access layer. Don't confuse here. Is it clear? Let us see here anyway. I will show you now. Now go to your data access layer. I added business objects and I will add one more system.configuration also I will add. How do you add that one? References, add reference. Here go to your assemblies. There you can write system.configuration. Such that one. System.configuration. Check the checkbox. Click on OK. Then automatically it will add. Two DLLs I added. Two references I added in data access layer. Business objects and system.configuration. Okay na? Now in data access layer, right click on the data access layer. What to do? Add class. Add class. The name of the class I'll try to give as employee. What is the name of the class? I'll give employee.cs. Click on add button. Here I'll try to declare the namespace using system.configuration, using system.data, using system.data.sql client. And here I'll try to declare one class. I'll try to declare one class as public. I'll try to declare. And here I'll try to declare some methods. Public int add employee. Is it clear? And here I'll try to pass the input parameter, because data access layer will give the data to database now. So here I will use the business objects, that is using business objects. And for this method I will pass the input as business objects dot employee. Business objects employee is not there, but I think I had not declared with public. So declare the employee class as public. Declare properties public int enumber. And here we'll see public string ename. You don't worry, in this project several modules will do the same architecture. At least next level at least you'll understand, but don't neglect. Try to practice. Definitely you'll understand, because next module also will do in the similar manner. This is your employee module. This is your business objects. Employee model class is ready. Now go to your data access layer. In data access layer you have employee.cs now. Here I will try to pass the object name obj model emp. Is it clear? Here I will try to write business objects.employee. Now I want to insert the record in the table. I will write ado.net code here. I think everyone is good in ado.net. SQL connection con is equal to new SQL connection of, here I will try to write configuration manager dot connection strings of constr dot toString, something like this. Create the connection. Next step I will try to open the connection con dot open of. Next pass the query. SQL command cmd is equal to new SQL command of query comma con. Here I will try to write the query. String query is equal to, I will try to write insert into employee values of, here I'll try to give single quote double quote plus obj model emp dot enumber, comma again single quote double quote plus obj model emp dot ename, again comma single quote double quote plus obj model emp dot salary. And here I'll try to pass the query comma con. Execute the query. cmd dot execute non-query. Return type I'll give as int. Is it clear everyone? So here I'll try to close the connection. If the record is inserted successfully, this execute non-query will return 1. Is it clear? Confirmation message, record is inserted or deleted. Insert into employee, yes. Now here I'll try to copy this method, same method as it is, and here I'll try to declare another method. And the name of the method I'll give as delete employee. We'll do initially these two operations. So I'll try to write the delete code, delete query. Remaining code is same. Delete from emp. Where? emp or employee? What is your table name? We create in database. Once check all of you. emp. Yes. Here also emp only, not employee. Delete from emp where enumber is equal to single quote double quote plus obj model emp dot enumber. Pass the query comma con. Two methods are there. Add employee and delete employee. Are you following everyone? So my data access layer code is ready. Data access layer will communicate with what? database. If the record is inserted successfully, this method will return 1, else it will return what? 0. You must have the knowledge on ADO.NET. This is a project class actually. Minimum skills required is ADO.NET is required, so MOOCs is required. Then only you will be able to understand some MVC architecture and all the other things. Now here go to your build the solution, very good. Now go to your view, solution explorer. There you can see service layer. In service layer, now we already discussed now, service layer will communicate with what? Data access layer. So add data access layer in service layer. Add reference, go to projects, add business objects and data access layer in service layer. Don't confuse here, you see I will show you. In data access layer, you have to add what you have to add in data access layer. In data access layer, you have to add business objects and system.configuration. These two things you have to add. Business objects, system.configuration. You have to add in data access layer. In service layer, what you have to add? You have to add data access layer and business objects. These two you have to add in service layer. Okay now. So this is your data access layer is ready. Now service layer also is nothing but it is also a class. So right click on service layer. Add class. Is it clear? Here what to do? I'll try to give the name of the class as employee. Here also I'll give the name as employee.cs. Click on add button. Here also declare public. So here I will declare two namespaces using business objects using data access layer. So in this class I will declare one method. Public int, same methods you write. Whatever the methods you written in data access layer, you write the same methods in service layer. Service layer mostly will write the business logic. If business logic is not there also, no problem. You have to maintain that layers. Architecture you must not disturb. Here you declare one more. Delete employee. Same methods you write. Now here what is there? Now service layer will communicate with data access layer. How the communication will happen between two layers? By creating object and calling the method. So this is your service layer. This is your data access layer. In service, data access layer is nothing but what? Class. In this class you have one method called add employee. Is it clear everyone? And in service layer is also nothing but what? Class. This class also consists of one method add employee. Now communication is required between these two classes. What is required means create an object. Create an object for data access layer in service layer. Yes or no? So here I'll try to create an object. DAL data access layer dot what is the class name? Employee. Always if you observe our project clearly, in every layer class names are same. In order to identify the class names, you can use namespace name. Because in service layer also you have employee class. In the data access layer also you have employee class. So you will not confuse now. In order to identify the classes, you will use namespace name. objdal is equal to new dash of something like this. Creating an object for my class data access layer. Okay na? Dot employee objdal. Now call that method objdal dot add employee of obj model emp. And the return type of this method is int. Because execute non-query will return int now, return I. Again, anyway, after writing the code, I will keep the breakpoint and I will show you the flow of execution. You will understand. And again, obj model emp dot delete employee. There you can call that method obj dal emp. Call the method obj dal emp dot delete employee of obj model emp. Return type is what? Int. Method must have return type. If the return type is int, it has to return the integer value. So return what? I. So my service layer is ready. I am following the architecture. Presentation layer will interact with service layer. Service layer will interact with data access layer. Or business logic layer, you can call service layer also as. So these two layers code is ready. Data access layer is ready. Service layer is ready. Business objects is ready. Now go to presentation layer. Here you can right click on controllers. Add controller. I will create one controller. The MVC5 empty controller. The name of the controller I will try to give as employee. Employee controller. Click on add button. So here I will try to create one new controller, employee controller. Is it clear, everyone? It will try to create one controller, that is employee controller. And here what I will do, I'll try to declare the now controller will interact presentation layer. No, presentation layer will interact with service layer. So go to references, right click, add reference. Here add business objects and service layer in presentation layer. Don't confuse here, all of you. In presentation layer, in RMS project, you add business objects and service layer. Okay, na? And in data access layer, you have to add business objects and system.configuration. And in service layer, you have to add what? Business objects and what? Data access layer. These two. So go to your controllers. So here I'll try to declare one action method. Index is there. I'll create one more method, index, and I'll decorate this method with HTTP post. You already know about MVC architecture. And here I'll try to use the business objects. Using business objects. And for this post method, I'll pass the input as business objects dot employee obj model emp. Okay, na? Now I'll try to add the object to the, and now I'll try to, now presentation layer will interact with service layer now. Here I'll try using service layer. Are you following? So here I'll try to create an object, service layer dot employee objsl emp is equal to new employee of. Now call the service layer method objslemp dot add employee of, pass the model object obj model emp, obj model emp, and the return type is what? Int. If the record is inserted successfully, it will return 1. Here I will write if I double equal to 1, means if the employee record is inserted successfully, what I want to do? I want to redirect to return redirect to action of. I want to again go to employee controller and action method index, controller name and action method name. Is it clear? And again I want to store the message. Actually I will take one message, view back dot message is equal to employee added successfully. Is it clear? This is my code for controller post method. And here I want to create the view. How to create a view? Right click on index. What to do? Add view. Now select the template. First of all, you build the solution. After modifications, every time you have to build. Build means compile. Right click on index. It is building. Build is ready. Are you following? So after build, right click on index. What to do? Add view. And here select view name is index template. Template I will try to give empty. Model class I will try to give employee business objects. Select this model class. And here I will give the layout, admin layout I will give. Click on OK. Again click on add button. Is it clear? So now here I will try to design my view. Using HTML.begin form. Is it clear? Using, what happened? Here I'll try to write using HTML.begin form. It is like form tag. HTML helpers are used to design the form. But before doing this project, you must have the knowledge on MVC. Then only you will understand. And here you can give action method name. HTML begin form, that action method name is index, comma controller name, employee, comma form method dot post. And it will try to design @HTML dot label of. Is it clear? Here I'll try to write something like enter employee number. Take one text box @HTML dot text box for off. I'll try to apply data binding here @HTML actually. 1 minute. @HTML dot text box for off. Text box for off. Here I'll try to go model is equal to greater than model dot e number. Is it clear? Throw the cursor to the next line. Here I'll try to go something like this. Enter employee name. Enter employee name. Model dot e name. and here I'll try to write enter salary. Is it clear? Enter salary. Here I'll write model is equal to greater than model dot what? Salary. Is it clear? And then throw the cursor to the next line. Here I'll try to take one button. Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to save. So whenever user clicks on save button, I want to save the record, and after that I want to display one message. So take one span tag. That record is inserted successfully. @viewbag.message. @viewbag.message. Here I use the viewbag now. I will display here. See, now you don't worry. I'll keep the break. But now that this is the important part of your project. So here what I will do, go to your controller. There you can see, keep the breakpoint here, index. Before that, see this part you understand, then you will understand the total project. Go to your presentation layer, RMS. There you can see app_start rootconfig.cs. There you can keep the breakpoint. Breakpoint will show you the breakpoint means just click with your mouse here. As a developer, mostly main job is to debug the program. Once when you join in the company, your main job is to debug the program. That is only the main part. Okay, na? So here what to do? Now press F5. Let us see what is happening. I already told you, user will open. Pressing F5 means user is entering the URL. Whenever user will enter the URL, what will happen? Request will go to server. Whenever user will enter the URL, then request will go to server. So if the request is first request, then application_start event will fire. Register routes method will be called. There it will set the default controller name and default action method name. Default controller name and default action method name. And here one more point I want to tell you. One small point I will try to we have to do. Okay, na? So here what I will try to do here, see, go to your index.cshtml, this layout page, admin layout page you can go, do some small modification. Go to your admin layout.cshtml, and here when user clicks on employee, it has to go to employee controller index method. Very good. It was nice. I had written clearly only. I thought I have not written. Okay, na? Now here you see, yeah, again I'll keep the breakpoint here, press F. Now whenever user press F5, request is going to the server. And if the request is first request, then application_start event will fail. And then register routes method will be called. And here it will set the default controller name and default action method name. Means by default home controller index method will execute. In order to debug the program, press Fn F11. Fn F11 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 F11. So home controller index method will be called. Fine. Is it clear? You can see the output. If you don't want to debug, if you want to stop debugging in middle, just press F and F5. Directly it will show you the output. Okay. Now anyway, click on login. Now first admin will log in with username and password. Now give the username admin. Password also you can give as admin here. Click on sign in. Now welcome to admin home. Now click on employee. Now here you see. Now employee controller. Whenever user clicks on hyperlink, which method will execute? Get method will execute. Whenever user clicks on URL or hyperlink, get method will execute. Whenever user clicks on submit button, post method will execute. Press F11. F11. Now get method will always give which output? HTML output. Press F5. So here I will get the design actually. It is debugging here. Page is loading. Here it is executing my designing code. If I don't want to debug, press F5. It will directly display the design. Enter employee number, employee name and salary. Now here I will try to give the employee number. Employee number I will try to give 101. Employee number I will try to give 101. Employee name, employee number I will try to give 101. Is it clear? And here I will try to give employee name. Employee name I will try to give Anil. Something like this I will try to give some employee name. Okay na? Anil Kumar. Salary I will give some 23,000. Click on save button. Now whenever user clicks on button, post method will get executed. Here you see. This you have to understand. Now as there is a data binding concept is there between model and view in MVC, whatever this is the data binding. Whatever the values that you are entering in the text boxes, automatically that values are assigned to this model object. Is it clear? Here keep the cursor here, check whether values are coming or not. Coming 101 Anil 23,000. Now this is presentation layer. Now presentation layer is communicating with what? Service layer. Is it clear? Here you see, and we are calling the method add employee. So presentation layer will interact with service layer. Here you see, and values are coming or not. You check here. Service layer also values came. Now service layer will interact with what? Data access layer. Data access layer also values came or not. Once check. Keep the cursor and click this arrow. You can see the values coming or not. This is the good skill of the developer. Debugging is the main point. Again F11, create the connection. Now data access layer will communicate with database. Open the connection. Pass the query. Keep the query here, cursor here. See the query. Query is valid or not, you see. Insert into EMP values of 101 Anil Kumar 23,000. Very good. And then execute the query. If the query is executed successfully, it will return 1. Check here, 1 came. So now data access layer is communicating with the database, and again it is sending the result to service layer. Press F11. Now here you see service layer came here. This is, and here that 1 is stored in I. And again service layer will send that 1 to presentation layer. Here you see here, and here also press F11. Fn F11. If you press only, it will move to the next line. F11. Now come here, F11. Now message is stored. Yes. Now press F5. Here I am getting some error. I think I have written the wrong controller name and action method name. No problem. I will modify that one. Is it clear? Redirect to action of. What is this redirect to action of? Here I have to give. First it is asking me to give the action method name. That is index. It was gone. Is it clear? That is, I'll try to give action method name index, comma, controller name. I'll try to give as employee. Is it clear? And then you'll get the output clearly. Now here I'll remove all the breakpoints and I'll try to press F5. Check the output. Here you see the output of this program. You'll understand. Here you can see the output. Press F5. Now here login. Here I'll try to give the username admin and the password admin. Click on sign in. Click on sign in. Now check. Click on employee. Already 101 record is inserted. If you want, you can go and check in your database. You can see. Here you can see. Right click on EMP, edit top 200 rows. 100% record is inserted. No doubt about that. So always as a developer, you have to debug the program and check that one. Here you give 102. Here you give Sunil. Here you give 23,000. Click on save. So that record is also saved. That's it. I hope you understood. For more videos, try to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. We'll continue in the next session. Have a nice day. Bye.